Good day everyone. Our topic is all about analytics, and I am Jean Etok and my group mates are Ines and Sible. So let's start with our objectives. Our first objective is to understand the fundamentals of computer system analysis, identify the different types of analytics, recognize the key components of a computer system to analyze, evaluate system performance using metrics and tools, assess security and risk factors in computer systems, analyze the cost and efficiency of computer systems, and lastly, explore the future trends in system analysis. Next is the introduction to computer system analysis. So when we say computer system analysis, this is the process of evaluating the components and yung pag-check ng performance and overall efficiency ng isang computer system. Ina-examine nito yung both hardware and software to see the problem and to ensure optimal functionality. Next is why analyze computer system. We have 5 reasons. First is the performance optimization. So when we identify, it says here, by analyzing the computer system, you can identify bottlenecks and deficiencies, allowing you to make targeted improvement that boost overall performance. So when we identify, we need to know kung ano yung mga nagpapabagal sa system. For example, yung too much program running, yung excessive use of CPU, or having not enough RAM space, and then dapat ma-resolve natin yun at magawa agad ng solution. Next is the troubleshooting. So, ito napipredict and nape-prevent yung potential failures sa ating computer system. Third is the capacity planning. Sa capacity planning, we need to understand how to analyze computer system. Helps predict future needs, allowing you to plan for upgrades and expansions before resources became strained. So, para hindi mag-overload yung system, you need to know when to upgrade the hardware or software system based sa performance nito. Fourth is the security monitoring. Regular efforts to analyze computer system can reveal potential vulnerabilities or unusual activities that might indicate a security breach. So, ini-enhance nito yung system security and protect it against vulnerabilities like yung hacking, viruses, at data breaches. And lastly is the resource allocation. So, by knowing how to analyze computer systems, you can make informed decisions about where to allocate computing power, storage, and other resources for maximum efficiency. So, we need to optimize resource allocation para hindi sayang yung mga available resources at mas mapabilis pa yung computer system. Next is the components of computer system to analyze. We have 3 hardware analysis. Ito, when we say hardware analysis, ito yung mga physical part ng computer system. First dito is the CPU performance. So, the CPU is the central processing unit na ina-execute yung instructions and dine-determine yung system speed. We have key factors to analyze. The clock speed, higher speed, mas mapabilis yung process ng computer. Second is the core and thread count. More cores improve multitasking and performance. Third is the CPU utilization. So, higher percentage of usage, pwedeng mag-cause ng lag or slow performance ng system. Fourth is the thermal performance. Kailangan ng magandang cooling system para hindi mag-overheat yung CPU. Second is the memory usage or RAM. Ang RAM is the random access memory na temporarily stores active program data. We have key metrics to monitor. First is the total RAM installed. So, mas mataas ang RAM, mas maraming program ang kayang i-accommodate without slowing the performance of the system. Second is the usage percentage. So, consistently high usage may require an upgrade para mas maging smooth yung system performance. Third is the swap memory usage. Excessive swap usage indicates the RAM shortage. So, when we say swap, ito yung kapag nagkulang yung RAM ng isang computer, ginagamit ng system yung storage bilang extra memory. So, kapag mas madalas na yung paggamit nun, meaning need na mag-upgrade ng RAM. Next. Third is the storage capacity and speed. Kasama dito yung HDD and SSD. HDD is the hard drives. SSD is the solid state drives. SSD are faster, more reliable, and use less power than the HDD. These are the factors to analyze. First is the total storage and available space. Low free space can slow down the system. Dapat meron tayong enough space para maiwasan yung pag-lag ng system. Second is the read-write speed. Faster speeds improve file access and load times. Very essential siya lalo na sa gaming, video editing, and pag-open ng malalaking files. Third is the health status. Tools like Crystal Disk Info check disk health para maiwasan natin yung pagsira ng system storage. Next. The fourth one is the graphics processing capability or yung GPU. Ito yung nag-handle ng visual and AI-based computing task, and we have key metrics to analyze. First is the VRAM or video memory. Higher VRAM improves graphical performance. Mahalaga siya sa gaming, video editing, and 3D rendering. Second is the clock speed. Determines processing power for smoother animation and effects. Third is the temperature and utilization. Overheating can lead to performance drops. Gaya nga ng sinabi ko kanina, dapat may magandang cooling system para hindi mag-overheat. Next. So we have the software analysis. When we say software analysis, these are the programs and operating system. First is the operating system health. This ensures the OS run efficiently without unnecessary background processes. Check for system errors, crashes, and resource-hungry services. Dapat nating i-check kung may errors ba or nagka-crash yung lag ng system. Dapat alam natin yung sanhi. Second is the application performance. Identify slow or unresponsive applications that may consume excessive CPU or RAM. Monitor resource usage of each application. So, minsan may mga apps na masyadong malakas gumamit ng CPU at RAM, and kailangan natin i-monitor and i-close kung hindi naman kailangan. Third is the software conflicts. Incompatible or corrupted software can cause system crashes. So, nangyayari siya kapag may hindi compatible or may corrupted na software na pwedeng mag-cause ng pag-crash or pagloko ng system. So, kailangan natin i-check yung error logs or user diagnostic tools. Gagamit tayo ng user diagnostic tools to know the problem. Fourth is to update and patch status. So, outdated software is a security risk and may cause performance issues. Ensure applications and the OS have the latest updates and security patches. Kapag luma na ang software or yung OS, mas madali siyang kapitan ng virus and mas magiging mabagal siya. So, dapat palaging updated yung OS and security patches. Next is the network analysis or the internet and network connection. First is the bandwidth utilization. Measure network speed and data consumption. Identify which applications or device are consuming the most bandwidth. So we need to measure the network speed and kung kung gaano karaming data yung nakakonsume nito, and to identify app and devices that consumes bandwidth, lalo na kung mabagal yung internet. Second is the latency issues. High latency leads to slow connections and lag in online activities. Ping test and traceroute can help locate latency bottlenecks. Kapag mataas ang latency, nagkakaroon ng lag sa online activities like games, video calls, and streaming. Pwede tayong gumamit ng ping test and traceroute para malaman kung saan mabagal ang connection. Third is the packet loss. These are the lost data packets indicate unstable connections and potential network issues. High packet loss may be caused by hardware failure or congestion. Kaya nagkakaroon tayo ng putol-putol na connection. So, fourth naman is the network security. Check for unauthorized devices on the network. Scan for potential vulnerabilities. So, we need to make sure to scan potential vulnerabilities, check kung naka-enable ba yung firewall, at walang open ports na pwedeng pasukan ng hackers.
Okay, ngayon tatako naman tayo sa ating next na subtopic in ayan, so ano nga ba ang analytics? Analytics is the process of collecting, processing, and analyzing data para makakuha tayo ng insights at makagawa ng smarter decisions. Hindi lang to basta-basta numbers. Ito ang way para maintindihan natin kung ano ang nangyayari sa isang system. Sa mundo ng computing, sobrang important ng analytics kasi ito ang ginagamit natin para i-monitor ko okay ba ang takbo na isang system, like yung performance ng CPU, RAM, storage, at network. Nadedetect din nito kung may errors, crashes, o bottlenecks, yung mga bagay na nagpapabagal o nagpapahinto sa ating system. Nakakatulong din ang analytics para ma-predict natin ang future needs ng system, like kung kailangan ng upgrade o kung ano ang dapat i-improve. So, ganun ka-powerful ang analytics. Kaya, kung next time na maririnig ito, when it comes to technology, it's not just about data. It's about making better decisions with that data. Okay, so now that we know what analytics is, mayroon tayong apat na main types ng analytics. And bawat isa ay may specific role sa pag-intindi ng data. So let's break it down. So first is the descriptive analytics. What happened? Ito ang type ng analytics na tumitingin sa past. Basically, sinasagot niya yung tanong, ano ang nangyari? Gamit ito, makikita natin ang trends and patterns tulad ng pag-check ng system logs para malaman kung gaano kataas ang CPU usage last week. So, halimbawa, task manager, activity monitor sa Mac, at syempre sa system logs. Pangalawa, diagnostic analytics. Why did it happen? Next, ito naman ang nagsasabi ng bakit ito nangyari, kung may issue. Ito ang ginagamit para hanapin ang root cause. Ang halimbawa nito, kung laptop mo sobrang bagal, chine-check mo kung mataas ba ang memory usage o may software conflict. Ang tools nito ay Event Viewer, Performance Monitor, ang mga debugging tools. Third, predictive analytics. What might happen in the future? Ito, kasi dito na pumapasok ang AI at historical data. Predictive analytics tries to answer ano ang pwedeng mangyari. So for example, pwede niyang i-predict kung kailan masisira ang hard drive mo based sa these health reports. So machine learning models, AI-based monitoring software like predictive maintenance tools. And lastly, yung prescriptive analytics. What should be done? Ang huling type, dito, hindi lang niya pinapakita ang problema. Nagbibigay pa siya ng recommendations kung ano ang dapat gawin. So, i-recommend niya kung ano yung system upgrades na kailangan para maiwasan ng failures or para ma-improve natin ang performance. So, yung tools niyan is AI-driven optimizers at automated na system tuning software.
So, next naman tayo is sa security and risk analysis. So, first is meron tayong dalawang components. First is identifying system vulnerabilities and security analysis tools. So, first, identifying system vulnerabilities, we have common security threats. So, sa common security threats, is we have like malware, unauthorized access, and data breaches na sobrang delikado sa mga systems. So, yung malware, tulad ng viruses, worms, and ransomware, is pwedeng makapasok sa system through email attachments, websites, or external drivers, which is nagli-lead siya sa data loss or system crashes. And yung unauthorized access naman is nangyayari siya kapag mahina yung password natin or kapag na-phish ka yung sa email. And yung mga attackers is pwede nilang makuha o manipulate yung data and pwede siya mag-lead to data breach. So it means is yung mga sensitive infos is malileak without permission and pwedeng mag-cause ng pagkawala ng trust ng customers or financial losses sa company. Next is ang importance of system patches and updates. So para naman maiwasan yung mga risk na to is dapat merong regular na system patches and updates. Kasi nire-repair nito yung mga vulnerabilities and pinapalakas nito yung performance ng system. And mas sinisigurado nito na sumusunod sa security standard yung isang system. So kapag hindi ka nag-update is magiging prone to sa mga threats and mas madali to ma-hack or magkaroon ng mga financial issues. Next naman is security analysis tools. First is antivirus and endpoint protection software. So for the antivirus software is nade-detect nito and nare-remove nito yung mga malware sa devices natin. While yung endpoint protection naman is nagbibigay nito ng mas complete na security by checking and responding sa mga threats in real time across sa lahat ng devices na connected sa isang network. So, meron din tong added features like firewalls, intrusion detections, and meron din tong advanced techniques like behavior analysis and machine learning para makaiwas sa mga new software. Next is log monitor. Management tools is tulad ng Splunk na nagko-collect and nag-a-analyze ng mga logs galing sa mga iba't ibang sources para sa mga suspicious activities and potential threats in real time. So, nagbibigay ito ng security teams para mas mabilis makita and makarespond sa mga security incidents. So, important to para sa pag-monitor and pag-secure ng mga complex IT environments. Next sa security analysis tools natin is network security scanning. So for example nito is meron tayong Nmap, which is a tool na ginagamit para mag-scan ng network para makita ng mga admins kung ano yung mga host and services na meron sa isang network. So pati na rin yung mga open ports is pwede nitong makita. And next naman is yung Nessus tool. So vulnerability scanning tool din siya na nag-check ng mga unknown vulnerabilities and misconfiguration sa isang system. So next naman tayo is sa cost and efficiency analysis. So first is meron tayong evaluating system cost and energy efficiency in computing. First, sa evaluating system cost natin, meron tayong two components which is the upgrading hardware versus maintaining the old systems. So sa upgrading hardware means papalitan natin yung luma at outdated na components ng mga bago, so mas efficient na models para mag-improve yung performance at lifespan ng isang system. Mas mabilis yung trabaho dito pero mas magastos to dahil bago yung equipment and installation niya. While yung maintaining old system naman is mas mura siya pero mas prone siya sa security issues dahil nga outdated na yung components nito and hindi na siya ganun ka-modern para sa mga new applications. Next naman is a cost-benefit analysis of cloud versus on-premises solutions. So yung cloud solutions is flexible to and scalable. So ibig sabihin nun is magbabayad lang tayo sa mga ginagamit natin. Tapos yung hardware, security, and maintenance niya is naaasikaso na ng provider. Pero meron din siya mga subscription fees and issues sa data privacy. While yung on-premises solutions naman is meron tayong control dito sa ating data and security. Pero mas mahal naman siya at mas kailangan ng malaking budget para sa maintenance, upgrades, and sa mga tao na magmamanage ng system. So, mas less flexible naman siya kumpara sa cloud services. Next is energy efficiency in computing. So, first is meron tayong power consumption of components. So, dito sa power consumption of components natin is yung mga computing components like processors, storage devices, and network equipments na merong malaking factor sa operational cost natin. So, kailangan nila ng malaking kuryente depende sa performance, cooling needs, and usage. So, may options ka dito sa energy efficiency na hardware like low power processor at SSDs. So, mas makakatulong to para mabawasan yung energy cost at makasupport sa sustainability goals. Next is sustainable computing practices. Is tungkol naman to sa pagbawas ng environmental impact ng IT operations. So, kasama dito yung paggamit ng energy efficient devices, virtualization ng services, and cooling sa mga data centers para mabawasan yung energy use. So yung pag-recycle ng old hardware and pagbawas ng e-waste is malaking tulong siya sa sustainability efforts. So mas maraming companies ngayon yung nagpo-prioritize ng mga ganitong practices para mabawasan yung carbon footprint.
Okay. So ngayon, let's fast forward a bit kasi ngayon naman ay pag-uusapan natin ang future trends sa system analysis. Hindi kompleto ang discussion natin kung walang AI at machine learning. So dito na papasok ang matitinding smart systems na kayang mag-analyze ng data almost on their own. So paano nga ba nakakatulong ang AI at ML or machine learning sa system analysis? Dalawa sa pinaka-main uses ngayon ay ang predictive maintenance at anomaly detection. So, predictive maintenance, ito yung paggamit ng historical data para i-forecast kung kailan pwedeng masira ang system. Para bang mayroong sixth sense yung system mo. So, example, Sysplunk, yung Sysplunk IT Service Intelligence. Gumagamit ito ng machine learning para i-predict ang mga downtime bago pa sila mangyari. So, may chance kang maiwasan ng disaster bago pa ito tumama. Next is the anomaly detection. Dito naman, automatic nang hinahanap ng system kung may weird na behavior o performance pattern na pwedeng maging problema. Imagine this. Sa IBM Watson Analytics, kayang ma-detect kung may irregularity sa metrics mo. Tapos, magbibigay agad ng alert para maayos agad. Less stress, more control. Salamat, and all thanks to Smart Analytics. Okay, so next is the self-healing systems. You heard it right. Ito ang mga system na kayang ayusin ang sarili nila kahit na walang anumang human intervention. Si Kubernetes ang isa sa magandang halimbawa nito. Kapag may container na nag-fail, automatic niya itong nire-restart. At kung kulang ang resources, it scales up using its horizontal path autoscaler. So, kahit na habang natutulog ka, busy siya nag-aayos ng sarili niya. Ayan, so next is automated tuning. Ang automated tuning naman ang sagot sa ever-changing workloads. Ibig sabihin, ang system ay nag-a-adjust ng settings in real time base sa demand. Example nito is Dynatrace Davis Engine. Automatic niyang fine-tune ang settings para ma-optimize ang resources lalo na sa peak hours. Hindi mo na kailangan mag-manual adjust kasi real-time siyang nagre-react para siguraduhin smooth ang system performance. So, next naman natin is the cloud computing. Ito ang pag-monitor at pag-analyze ng performance gamit ang cloud-based platforms. Ang goal nito, real-time insights kahit gaano pa kalaki ang distributed system mo. So, example nito is AWS CloudWatch. So, ang AWS CloudWatch ay kaya nitong i-monitor ang buong application mo na nasa host sa cloud from servers to services, real-time at scalable. Ito ay centralized monitoring. So, next is the edge computing. Si edge computing naman ay kabaligtaran ng cloud in some ways. Instead of sending data sa cloud, dito na mismo sa device or sa edge ng network pinoprocess ang data. So, bakit? Para bumilis ang response time at bumaba ang latency. Perfect ito para sa mga situations na real-time decision making ang kailangan. So, example nito is the Cisco Edge Solutions. Dito yung critical data like sa health monitoring or security systems, pinoprocess agad sa mismong source. So, wala nang delay. And the next, number 3 is the IoT integration. Hindi mawawala ang I2OT or the Internet of Things. Dito, ang mga smart devices ay nagko-collect ng performance data 24/7 mula sa iba't ibang environment. So, example nito is the Siemens MindSphere. Gumagamit sila ng IoT sensors sa mga industrial machines para ma-monitor ang health ng equipment at ma-optimize ang performance. And then next naman natin is the enhanced security and big data analytics. So next is the advanced security measures. Security is the key. Lalo na ngayon, sobrang valuable ang data. Ngayon, ginagamit na rin ng AI para bantayan ang system sa real time. Ang example na ito is the Dark Traces Enterprise Immune System. So parang sa body natin, nag-i-scan siya ng network traffic 24/7 para ma-detect ang possible threats or breaches bago pa sila makasira. Parang digital immune system. Ngayon, the next one is big data and real-time analytics. Ito yung pag-process ng napakalaking amount ng data para makakita ng trends at makagawa ng smart decision. Example, Apache Spark. Super bilis mag-process ng malalaking datasets. Tapos, gamit ang Tableau or Power BI, pwede mo nang i-visualize lahat ng insights into clear and interactive dashboards from raw data to real-time action. And next is the data-driven optimization. Dahil may real-time data ka na, pwede ka na rin gumawa ng data-driven decisions agad-agad. Ito ang tinatawag na data-driven optimization, kung saan yung systems nag-a-adjust ng configurations based sa live performance data. So, example is the Power BI. Merong integrated dashboards na ginagamit ng IT teams para makita agad kung may issue and take action right away. Hindi na reactive, kundi proactive ka na sa mga system ngayon sa system management. And, ayan. Ngayon, sa ating summary, quick recap lang tayo. Future system analysis is leveling up. It's thanks to powerful tech like AI automation, cloud edge integration, IoT, at syempre big data analytics. Dahil sa mga to, kaya na natin mag-proactive maintenance, mas secured ang system at real-time na ino-optimize ang performance. Ibig sabihin, mas smart, mas mabilis, at mas reliable na ang mga system natin. So, ayun, kung gusto mong maging part ng technology in the future, yun yung mga kailangan natin pag-aralan. And we need to master those tools. So, yun lang. Thank you sa pakikinig.